Hi everyone, I'm Mike from Mike's VR Corner and Mike's Retro Corner. This is my 3000 GT UK spec, and just recently it was having hesitations issues and problems with accelerating, which I have actually fixed now. In the diagnostics of fault finding it, I actually went ahead and changed the fuel pump, and in the process of changing the fuel pump, I had to take the studs off the fuel tank, well, the bolts off the fuel tank, and as we know, they're not very well designed. So let me just show you my problem. So there's my problem, and I thought to myself, well, there's two broken studs here, so this one and this one, the rest the correct size. And as you can see, I've already drained the fuel tank. There's nothing in it, and I've aired it all out as well, so there's no fumes or leftover fuel in there. Yeah, as you can see, I've got two broken studs, and we're going to have a go at trying to replace those. I did try some sealer, but I'm not confident enough to trust the sealer, so I want to replace these two studs. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do today. What I have done is drained the fuel tank. So if you need to do something like this, a lot of people will say you have to drop the fuel tank. I don't understand why. So I've already drained the fuel out. Gosh, it's not to clean it up later. So I've drained the fuel out the fuel tank, and I've also used a method to get any leftover fuel out of the fuel tank. So I piled it up with tissues to soak in all the tissue, all the leftover fuel, and I also then hooked up a blower. So I've got this, which was blowing air into the tank to evaporate any leftover fuel that's in there, and to also blow out any of the fumes that are still in there now. So it's all nice and clean in there, and it's all empty of fuel. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little Dremel, and we're going to make those studs as flat as possible so we can drill those out. Okay, so I've just done a little bit of preparation. So I'm going to use a extension Dremel, so it's just a cutting end that's going to go into here. I've covered up the hole for the fuel tank just so there's no debris going inside the fuel tank. And yeah, just to stop any sparks from going in there as well, even though, yeah, better to be safe than sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and chop that one off and chop that one off, and hopefully we'll get a nice flat surface. So I will see you after I've done that. Okay, so now we've grinded down those two studs, and now what I'm going to do is drill out this one and this one. So we have a nice hole in there waiting for the new studs to go in. I will get that done, and we will come back after that's finished. Just before we go ahead and drill those out, just to capture any of the loose metal filings that will come out once this is done, I've put some tissue just in the bottom of there, just to capture any of the loose metal bits that will be drilled out, so we can just lift them out. We will give the tank a quick hoover as well, just to make sure there's no little bits still left over. So here we are, we've drilled out one, so we've got a nice little hole there for one, and we're just going to finish off drilling off this one now. So nice slow movement, don't do it too fast. There we go. So that's the two stud holes drilled, and I'm going to go ahead and clean that up now. So the way we're going to fit some new bolts, by the way, that's it all cleaned up in there now, and I've removed the rubbish from the bottom of the tank and tissues, and I hoovered it all out, so it's all nice and clean in there now, with the holes ready to get some studs in there. So what I'm going to use these two, and I'm going to use a star lock washer. Now what I'm going to go for is this particular type. They're pretty flat, so when you look at the side profile, there's not a lot to them, so hopefully we'll be able to slot that in, and that will keep the stud in place once we've put it in. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and then I'll show you once we've got it in. Also, just for a little bit more of to be safer, I've used some sealant which is petrol. Well, it can be used against petrol oils. The particular sealant I've used is blue, and we'll be putting that on the bottom of each one of these as we put them in, and that should hopefully give a nice seal on there as well. So there we have the two new studs in place with the lock washers securing them so they won't push back in again. So they're now solid up there. And what I'm going to do is again put a little bit of blue sealer just above these two, and then we're going to go ahead and fit the fuel pump assembly, and hopefully we'll be done. So there we have the replacement studs all done up with the other studs in place, and hopefully now that'll give me a bit more peace of mind, because I wasn't happy with the fact that I had two broken studs here. Even though I put sealer on there, I still wasn't happy, because if I think to myself, if I put a full tank of fuel into this and it's sloshing about in there, it's just going to keep sloshing on there and sloshing on there and then end up coming out. So fitting these two studs has given me a little bit extra peace of mind that I'm not going to be leaking fuel anywhere. So there you go guys, that's a quick repair on the fuel pump housing, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, then like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.